Hello and welcome to another weekly update, which is fantastic if you are looking to buy, sell, move to Fife, or you're purely just curious of what is happening in the Fife property market. So this is for last week's figures. So this is for the week commencing the 31st until the 6th of September. What's great with today's show is we're actually going to look back at the monthly statistics, so for the whole of August, to give you a great insight, because we always say 1 week doesn't make a trend. So this will allow you to get an understanding of what was happening in the month of August and potentially what could happen moving forward. So we're going to start with the statistics. Then we look at what we were doing in particular as an agency. So our activity, so that's new properties to the market, what we have got coming soon, what we have sold and completed on. So it gives you a great insight into what is actually being offered on and accepted on in properties. And then we'll do a run through of the shows that have taken place, so you know what to go back and watch and get some brilliant information from. So we're going to start with last week's statistics and then we'll do the monthly. So as a quick look, that should be on the screen for you to see. You will see that 143 properties went to market last week alone. So this is the figures that are pulled from all agencies that advertise on Rightmove. So it's new properties to the market versus properties that have now had offers accepted and are showing sold subject to concluded missives. So 143 properties hit the market last week alone. And you can see the breakdown throughout the micro regions versus 119 properties sold. Now, if you remember last week's show, and if you're a regular to these shows, that there was a really big difference and there was a lot of properties that sold last week. But this is why we say 1 week does not make a trend, because then obviously look at it this week. It is again a difference, but a slightly difference in terms of less property sold last week. So it gives you a great idea in the terms of the micro regions. And when I say micro regions, I mean each area within Fife. So like your KY 15-14 for Cooper, KY 10 for East Snook, and so on. Always with these shows, if there is any questions, any comments, anything at all, feel free to put it in the comments and we will come back to you. Likewise, if you are watching the rerun, still comment and we will come back to you, or if you prefer, you can give us a private message. Likewise, you can click the link and you can read through the blog as well if you prefer. But Cooper 7 versus 19, average numbers there, nothing untoward, nothing to be alarmed about. Some weeks it is in the double figures, some weeks it does float around the 9. It's nothing to be alarmed about. East Snook, it's great to see that 10 properties had offers accepted on them last week. So it was great to see that we are working our way through the stock, because there's average selling time in the East Snook depending on price point, depending on standard, and obviously what is available. There's about 2 to 3 months worth of stock sitting in the East Snook just now. So it's great to see that 10 properties had offers accepted. St Andrews, very rarely do we have the exact same sold as what went to market. Now, this doesn't mean to say the 12 that hit the market are the 12 that sold. That is not the case. It's just obviously a coincidence that the numbers are the same, but it's perhaps those 12s are of older stock. It's great to see, though, that there was double figures of what was selling in St Andrews, because, again, just to be a bit like the East Snook, there is a lot of stock, but there is a lot more in St Andrews. So your KY16 postcode currently is an average selling time of 5 to 6 months. You can be quicker than that if, one, you're priced accordingly. So you are priced at a realistic, attractive price point to get buyers through the door. You instruct an agent that is local and has knowledge of the area, and they have a really proactive, aggressive approach on the market, and they really do catch that attention and have the reach out there to target the buyers. And it's not just buyers within Fife. What does that agency have in terms of reach? Out with Fife, out with Scotland, out with the UK. We are looking for those cash rich, time poor buyers. And what are we doing to obviously get right in front of them, to get them through the door, to get you those best prices? And that is what is key in St Andrews just now, to get you sold and get you moved on. But your average selling time just now is anything from 5 to 6 months. Leavenmouth, it's a strong market. Your KY8 is a lucrative area in terms of the investment that was put there and the commuting links that were made available. So your 10 and 12 is obviously average numbers and nothing to be alarmed about. Yes, not as much sold in Leavenmouth, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. 1 week does not make a trend. Dunfermline, higher numbers as always, and we know that. Again, it is a natural kind of area that people gravitate towards because of the commuting links that are available and your proximity to the bigger cities. You get a lot more property for your money in Dunfermline, and you can just do the commute. Glenrothes, 20 properties instructed versus 8 properties sold. That is slightly different for Glenrothes. The 20 isn't too much. It's slightly more than what we normally see. It's normally 15, 16. 20 is slightly higher, but what is unusually low for Glenrothes is only 8 properties selling. Not very often do we see single figures for Glenrothes. But again, it's nothing to be concerned about. It is just that 1 week. We're going to do the monthly figures next, and that'll give you a better insight. Kirkcaldy, 27 versus 23. Again, that's just average numbers for Kirkcaldy. Some weeks they have been hitting really high numbers, but that is kind of leveled out and it is more of an average, just in terms of the availability, affordability, the commuting links, everything that is on the doorstep. Naturally, people are going to Glenrothes and Kirkcaldy. So that is last week's figures, but we're going to do a run through of the monthly figures now. So for the whole of August then, so the entirety of August, we saw 538 properties new to the market. So that is brand new instructions in August alone, 538. And this is all agencies. Now, obviously, there would be slightly more if perhaps it's an agent that doesn't advertise on Rightmove, but this gives you a really good insight. Versus 572 properties sold, so 106% of the stock sold. Obviously, again, if you're watching this thinking, well, hang on, how was there only 538 new to market, but a lot more sold? It will be that older stock that's perhaps been there for 2 months, 3 months, or however long. But it's just getting through that stock that's there. But it is great to see that there was 572 active buyers on the market in the month of August. Now, obviously, if you are sitting with a property to sell or you're thinking of buying, etc., whatever you fit into the Fife market, it's great to see a breakdown of the areas, again, to give you that great insight to hopefully help you make informed decisions. But if you're watching this and you want to discuss it in more detail in perhaps that micro region and perhaps your street, your postcode, reach out to us. That is what we're here for. We are more than happy to help. But as you can see, we're just going to do a run through of any that particularly stand out, because you can see the numbers there for yourself. Now, this is your core market only. This is not including your resale homes. This is your resale homes only. This is not including your new build instructions. We will discuss that shortly, but this is resale homes only, so your really core market, just to give you the best, most informed information to help you move forward. But KY 1514 postcode, 43 properties instructed versus 50 properties sold. Yes, there's obviously a difference of 7, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. It's great to see obviously that more properties are selling, so we are getting through perhaps any of the older stock and making space for the newer stock that is hitting. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like next month for Cooper. East Snoop 22 versus 26, again a difference of 4. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It's still great to see that 26 properties sold and went over the line. So yes, there was slightly less that came to market in the East Snook, but it still held its own in terms of what was selling. So there's 26 active buyers looking in your KY10 postcode, which is great to see. As I mentioned, the stock that we need to work through. Now, you have your St Andrews market, slightly less than the other two micro regions in terms of less properties sold than what went to market. But it was also not to be it's not a shock in terms of the stock that is there in St Andrews just now. What is interesting as well is there was actually 3 new build instructions made available in St Andrews as well. So obviously we can't see when an offer has been accepted on a new build, so perhaps those numbers there would get it up to where you are sitting at your 32, so it would actually be more relative, and because we can't see when a new build has had an offer accepted. But 3 new went to the market in August, so that probably makes up the difference. But still, there was 26 properties sold, so it's great to see that we are still a strong number making way through that stock. Levenmouth 46 versus 54. Again, that 170% worth of the stock. Again, we're just working through any potential stale or kind of sticky stock, which is great to see. Dunfermline, really high numbers, completely knocks all the other micro regions out the park. And you can see that if you do watch Rightmove quite a lot and you are looking at the updates and the alerts, you will see just how many each day properties come to market. It's very, very Dunfermline orientated, and these numbers just back that up. Now, there was 2 new builds to the market for the month of August, so not that many new builds made available in the Dunfermline area, but there was still 241 properties that had offers accepted on them. Glenrothes 59 versus 58, so marginal difference in terms of numbers. Kirkcaldy, again, difference of 5, but again, it's just marginal, nothing to be alarmed about. But again, it's great to see that we are working through any potential stock that was perhaps left over from previous months in Kirkcaldy. In terms of the months, so there was actually 22 new build homes made available on the market in Kirkcaldy last month alone. So actually, if you add that into what obviously was instructed, 117, obviously we don't know out of those 22 have now had offers accepted. But Dunfermline naturally is an area that people gravitate towards, again, because of commuting links, leisure facilities, schooling, affordability. It appeals to so much of the market, whether it be first-time buyers, investors, landlords, families. It really does appeal to so much, hence why we see those strong numbers. So 538 new instructed properties versus 572. Now, obviously, it's always great to see the month because it does give you a better idea of how the market is performing. But as we always say, we are more than happy to discuss it in more detail with you, especially for your specific postcode, and we can give you some really recent comparables. So that is the statistics and the figures of what was happening. We will then do a run through of what we were doing in particular as an agency. So this is our activity. So let's pull this off the screen. So we are going to start with properties that we have now had offers accepted on. So the first one is right here, sold in 2 weeks. Now, you may be thinking it wasn't that long since I actually spoke about this one as a coming soon, or perhaps you even saw the pre-portal on our social media channels. But this one was an absolutely stunning cottage. It had so much charm and so much going for it while being on a substantial plot and getting a village lifestyle. So it was sold in 2 weeks, which is incredible. The sellers are delighted. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom cottage. It did come with landscape gardens, parking, a garage, and you honestly wouldn't know the property was there unless you were going looking for it, or perhaps you saw our for sale board on a little drive-by. Now, this one was on the market for offers over 300,000. As I say, sold in 2 weeks. The buyers are delighted that they've secured the home. Sellers are delighted that that's one thing in their head ticked off and they can move forward with their journey. But there was buyers that missed out on this property. So if you do have something similar kind of footprint, perhaps 3-bedroom, even if it's slightly less or more, but that cottage in a village setting or a rural setting, please do reach out, because we have active buyers. I did multiple viewings, so did the seller, so did my colleagues. So there was a good few viewings at this property, and there was offers that were missed out. So if you are looking to sell something similar, please do reach out to us, because we have hot, active buyers on the market looking for their next home. Now, we also sold, let's have a look, the next one, and this was in Celadike, so a slightly different area, and this was Sue Wester, and this is a 3-bedroom linked detached property. So actually you had all of that driveway at the side there, you had this grassed area here, but this was also your driveway and garage here, so it was a big footprint of property. It was actually really spacious. Was a property you go in, you add value, put your own stamp on it and really make it your own. But it's a brilliant opportunity. You could further develop and extend if you wish, and actually if you did extend out here to the side, you would get the most stunning views right across the Firth of Forth, because you were right over the rooftops and it's got stunning views. And so that was great to get that one over the line. Obviously the family are delighted to have a property near the beach and the lifestyle that this is now going to open up to them. Likewise, the sellers are delighted to obviously offload the property. Now, this one was on for offers over 230,000. Now, with both of these, we can't disclose what the offer was accepted on them, because they're just at the early stages. They're going through conveyancing. Once obviously misses have been signed, you can then go on and see what the property achieved and obviously what we negotiated. So do keep a lookout for that. Likewise, I do tell you on these shows, but that is the activity that we had last week. In terms of coming soon, so this is properties that myself and Perry have been out to and we know are coming to market. So this is where you need to keep a lookout on our social media pages. So wherever you're looking to purchase a property, that's the pages that you need to follow, and look out for pre-portal. So you're looking for the agent space and you're looking for the words pre-portal. That is then your prime opportunity. If you watch that full video walkthrough, because it's your preview, it's your virtual viewing before you actually get foot through the door. But if you watch that full video and at the end we tell you the price point, if it ticks all your boxes, you need to reach out to us and act fast, because that is your opportunity to get in there before anybody else. Now, there is 2 criteria to get through the door and qualify at pre-portal stage. Firstly, you need to be a cash buyer. That means you have cash in the bank ready to make an offer. Secondly, that offer is your attractive offer. It is your no regrets, your offer that secures that property that the seller almost bites your hand off for to stop it going to your Rightmove, your Zoopla and your S1 Homes. That's the 2 criteria. Now, if you want a wee bit more detail on that and us to discuss it with you and obviously give you a bigger insight, feel free to reach out to us, whether it be message, comment, pick up the phone. We're more than happy to guide you through that process. But look out for the pre-portals, and trust me when I say you need to act fast, because you do not want to miss out if it does tick your boxes. So this is what we have coming soon and what you need to keep a lookout for. The first one is in Leven, Love You. If obviously you are a regular of Fife Properties or you see obviously the area, you will notice that we have sold quite a lot in that development, and it is a desirable development. Now, this particular one is a 5-bedroom detached house, so it's going to be an ideal family home. They have brilliant builds, sought after locations, so you know this is going to be a popular one. So keep a lookout for Perry's pre-portal. You then have Centenary Court in Leven, and this particular one is a 2-bedroom terrace property. Again, it's a sought after area in terms of affordability, what you get in terms of footprint, but it does appeal to so much of the market. So I can guarantee you investors, landlords, first-time buyers. So do act fast when you see that one, because I know it's going to be popular. Next one is Woodlands Crescent, Leven. This one is a 2-bedroom semi-detached house. So again, keep a lookout. We've got a lot coming on the KY area, so do make sure you go and follow that Leven page and look out for Perry's pre-portals. And then finally, we have a property, slightly different location, so you need to be following the Glenrothes page for this one. But if you are looking for something in Glenrothes or surrounding area, perhaps Leslie, then this is the one for you. It is Croft Tooley, and it is a 3-bedroom detached house. So if, again, you're looking for a family home, Leslie's great because you can commute to Glenrothes, you can commute to Mackintosh train station, you can obviously head to Kinross, you can head out towards the M90 for Perth, Dundee and beyond. So it's a fantastic location, and there is so many amenities within Leslie. So it is a desirable area in terms of everything on your doorstep. And this particular one is a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. So it's an ideal family home. So that is what we have coming soon. And then finally, we're going to disclose what we have completed on. So missives are now signed, and we can now see the offers that were negotiated on them. So Main Street, Milton of Balgony. Now this one's a 4-bedroom, 2-reception, 2-bathroom detached property. Milton of Balgony, so it's that village lifestyle. Again, it's sought after. But this one was finished to a really, really high standard. It was a beautiful property. It had one level living, it had off-street parking, it had a garage. So this one actually sold for £345,000. New family are absolutely delighted with it, getting a beautiful home, really spacious, and a desirable area that is just perfect for commuting in all directions. Next one is Braham Park in Glenrothes. This one was a 3-bedroom, 2-reception, 2-bathroom. So again, a big footprint of property, semi-detached home. It offered 1 level living, opportunity to add value, which is always great to see. Obviously, it means you can put your own stamp on it as well. It was a sought-after cul-de-sac, off-street parking. Now this one sold for £230,000. The family are delighted to have secured a family home and move into the area. Finally, we had Brewster Place in St Andrews. Now this was a really well presented 3-bedroom semi-detached property, sought after location, private elevated garden to the rear, driveway, summer house. It really was a fantastic home, really spacious. Not a thing that you needed to do a 30-second walk and you were straight to the East Sands beach, round the corner from the leisure facilities as well. So it was a fantastic location and a really well presented, spacious home. And that one sold for £7,000 over the home report value, so £352,000 was achieved for that property. So that is the properties that have now concluded and gone through missives. So that gives you an idea of what properties are selling for. So if you do have something similar to any of those in any of those areas and you're looking for results like that, or if you're just purely curious of what your property property's worth and what obviously marketing and next steps look like, feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to help with you. Put it in the comments, message us privately, whatever you feel comfortable with, but we are on hand to help. Now, finally, before we wrap this up, we will do a look at the shows that have taken place. So as always, on a Monday, you have the Wealth Creation Show. So this is where you have Richard Cook, the Lettings Director, and Jim Parker, one of the UK's most successful property investors, discussing a topic. And yesterday's topic was lasting influence. Now, they always do go live at 12:30 on a Monday. If for whatever reason you can't watch it live, you can always watch the rerun. And likewise with this show, you can always still comment and they will come back to you. So again, if you're listening and you want to give your input or you have any questions, feel free to do that and they will absolutely come back to you. But yesterday's topic was the benefits of lasting influence and how that includes achieving your long-term goals, driving positive change, and building those strong relationships based on trust. Influential individuals can transform possibilities, perhaps into realities, making a tangible and significant mark on the world and leave a meaningful legacy that benefits others long after they have gone. So it's that longevity that's within that. Now, a lasting influence provides both personal and societal benefits, acting as a compass that guides decisions and ensures efforts contribute to something larger than oneself. So it's all about looking at that bigger picture. So if you're perhaps interested in leaving a positive legacy, or perhaps you started the process but you need a little bit of guidance, or perhaps you have some brilliant case studies, feel free to put it in the comments and they would absolutely love to hear. Another show that was done was Perry and I did a show about no offers yet and 17 ways to unblock your sale. We did this last week, so definitely go back and rewatch. Now, you'll be able to click the blog on this update and you'll see all the links available for all the shows, so you can go and watch. And then we also did a why are so many Fife homes bought during the pandemic returning to the market just now. And most of the people that bought in 20 or 2021 are already putting their properties back on the market. But trying to understand why is this actually happening. So this is where Perry and I really looked at the nitty gritty. We pulled facts, we pulled figures, and kind of discussed why that is happening. But again, if you are perhaps fallen into that, speak to us, reach out. What can we perhaps do to help? That is ultimately what we're here for. But that is the shows that's taken place. That is the update in terms of facts and figures from Ryan. Put it in the comments, pick up the phone, speak with us. You can read the blog. But until next time, I will see you next Tuesday for another update. All the best.